where did acting begin for you, and like when did you know that's like what you wanted to do?
Well, I mean, you're asking a 10-minute question. I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
I fell into it. I was a classic underachiever. I didn't want to go to college. I graduated with C's and D's, and I was like, yes. And I'm not proud of that, but I mean, it is just it's a matter of fact. I wasn't I was a very underperforming student in high school. And
Okay.
I mean, I also moved around a lot, so there's a lot more to that issue. But anyway, the point is, I got a good job right out of high school, and so I was just partying. And I did that for a long time, like a number of years, like 5 years or more. And then I was looking at the people who were walking around where I was working, big corporation. And I was like, oh my God, I can't be that person in 40 years. So what
Nah,
am I going
word.
to do? And I, you don't really need whatever. I'm a former foster child, so whatever I was going to do had to come from me. There was
Hmm.
no big inheritance coming. Nobody's going to leave me a house or nothing like that. So I figured, like, I better aim high. And at the time, my stepbrother was trying to be a stuntman here in Hollywood. I lived in Scottsdale,
Okay.
Arizona. That's where I graduated high school, from a small town in Colorado. So uh, I visited my stepbrother for a week. And at the end of that week, I was like, well, I pretty much know I don't want to jump off buildings and crash cars, but maybe I should, maybe I should figure out what it means to be an actor. And so, because I wanted to aim high. Whatever I was going to pick, I knew had to have the potential of, big money, because
Hmm.
otherwise, why bother? I mean,
Sure.
that was my opinion then. Of course, it's
Nah.
changed over the years, but yeah. So I went back to Scottsdale, and I found out, where I should start, which is a community college. And I went to community college, and I took an acting class, and I pretty much never left it after that. I mean, there's a long journey in school, and then that eventually brought me to LA. I did 3 years here in LA at LA City College, which for an
Okay.
actor is it's like Ivy League training at community college prices. So it's a good program.
That's
And
dope.
then I just got out in '92 and hit the bricks and started trying to
So
make
what
it
was that
happen.
first gig like?
I mean, dude, I left school in '92. I got Taft Hartley on a Matthew Broderick film in '94, and I
Okay.
didn't get a job until '97.
27.
So that's 5 years of basically hearing no 3 to 5 times a week. And
Mm-hmm.
but the benefit to that is that I'm a pretty badass cold reader now. Like, I can read anything. I can audition for anything. I love to audition, and I that period of years like handled rejection for me. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
hearing no that often, you go through all the feels, as they say, or whatever. Like, oh my God, is this right for me? And then you get pissed off, and you're like, fuck
Nah, I
them or
definitely feel
whatever.
you. I definitely feel you.
But really, the only lesson to hold on to from all of that is to just keep grinding.
Keep grinding,
Just
never
keep grinding,
stop.
because I'm here to tell you that I spent the 30 years running around LA trying to get the job that I got in 2020.
Word.
So, you have to love the journey, and you also have to rock solidly wire down your process. So that's what you're doing in those years where nothing is happening. You still study whatever. And I know, you could apply it to anything, like
To anything,
music or
yeah.
film or, inventing stuff, whatever it is, man. Like you can advise, you
You
can,
gotta go through them humps sometimes. You gotta go through them no's to get to that, yeah, to get to that bigger spot, man.
and you have to
So
wire down what you're doing so that
for sure.
like you're the expert, right? I
You
mean,
gotta have a plan. You gotta have a
that's
plan, you gotta execute it.
that's my opinion.
My
But
word.
that's how I started into acting, and I had a few breaks along the way. When I got out of school, I had a schoolmate that was dating a commercial agent. So that person agreed to take me on and those 5 years, and they sent me out like on every national campaign. So I was auditioning at a high level, even though it was just commercials. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's a that's a definite skill, man. Like,
No,
sometimes they bring you in alone to the room. Sometimes you're in a group of 15 people. I've had a guy grab my wrist, step into my knee, and pull. Like,
damn.
what are you doing, man? You trying to break my leg
Damn.
or what? You know what I mean? I
My
mean,
word.
crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Go
So
ahead.
what's the difference now between the auditions back then and the auditions now? Is there like a big difference to it or
Yeah, there's a big difference because then it was all in-person meetings. And now in 2015 or 2016, actors started getting what's called a self-tape audition, which means I got to put myself on tape. There's nobody, there's only people that I either ask or pay in the room. And so I got to take care of everything that the casting director used to do in their office. And
so
I'll tell you,
basically
go
you
ahead.
record yourself basically?
Yeah, I mean, I pay.
You gotta record yourself?
There's companies that have cropped up here in Los Angeles,
Okay.
self-tape companies that they just book appointments all day long, and actors come in, do their
Wow.
thing, and then they send them the file or whatever.
Oh, that's
But if
fine. Okay.
if you don't do it that way, then you have to do it yourself with a phone and have somebody that can halfway decently read opposite you, or to run the camera or something like that. But I'll tell you, like,
Okay.
here's a little bit more about this, right? So prior to 2016, I had a relatively high good reputation in the casting world. Like every office in town knew me. They would call me in straight to what's called producer sessions or straight to callbacks instead of an initial meeting to see how I was because they had seen me for 20 years. And that all went away in a heartbeat when they went to self-tape auditions. So I could work the room. I could win over the room. I once got a job on a sitcom because a pair of gloves wouldn't stay in my pocket. That's the only reason I got that job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they were
that's
rolling on the
crazy.
they were rolling on the floor off the couch like about how these gloves wouldn't stay in my pocket, and I got a job. So like I could work the room, but all that went away in self-tapes. And to put numbers to it, like let's say my callback percentage prior to 2016 was 80%, meaning 8 out of 10 meetings I go into, I'm going to get another meeting out of it or
Hmm.
a job, whatever. And from 2016 to 2020, when I got Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Leatherface, you know how many callbacks I had? Zero.
Zero.
Zero callbacks. And
Damn.
that was a very difficult thing to manage as an actor. Again, you're feeling all the stuff, all the frustration, and all the like, what am I doing wrong, and this, that, and the other thing. But and then here we go back to grinding, right? I don't mean to segue too early or whatever, but that that audition for Texas Chainsaw Massacre came into me like any other self-tape audition, and boom, they respond to the first tape I sent. And
Damn.
so
That was the next question. So,
it's kind of
so
a
might as well get
it's
in.
kind of a lesson on just, at a certain point you just keep grinding, keep doing what you do, regardless of how frustrated you feel or you feel like the world's against you or whatever it is. Like, just keep doing what you do, because in this business, the entertainment business, people are watching. People are watching and they're taking note. And maybe you're not right for this project, but 5 years down the line, they're going to do something that go, hey, where's that big weirdo we called in on that? Oh yeah, him. Okay, well, let's bring him in and see what he has to do. So you just keep grinding.
Nah, that's a dope story though. I think like a lot of people, I definitely should hear that though, because to like go from like zero calls to then go and get the call for like one of the best horror franchises ever is like unbelievable. So
For sure,
that's like
man.
basically saying like again, you was going through the humps and then there was like a bigger thing at the end of the road. You just ain't know that yet. So
Yeah,
like,
and then I
nah,
mean, I
that's,
didn't to say I didn't know it is an understatement, because I'll tell you the story right now of how I got that job. So again, I get a scene. They don't call it Texas Chainsaw Massacre, by the way. They don't call it
oh, they
Leatherface.
try to spin you out.
They just
Okay.
say, here, do this. So I did that. I did what they wrote, and I submitted it. And boom, they respond right away. They're like, okay, now do this scene. So I did that scene. So now we're 2 tapes deep. Then they said, okay, now do this scene. So now we're 3 tapes deep, and each time is like a few days in between, right? So we're now probably 2.5 weeks into this process. All I've gotten is their response of do more, do more, do more. There's no real adjustments for content, or they're like, they could say like, oh, speak faster or be more toward the camera when you say that line or whatever. None of that. Just do more, do more. So we're 2.5 weeks in, and then they come back and they say, all right, now do everything you did before again with better lights and sound. Okay. So now we're 4 tapes deep. And then they come back. By the way, that process started on Valentine's Day, 2020. So February 14th, 2020 is when I sent in the first tape. And now we're 4 tapes deep. And they go, okay, do it again. Better lights and sound. So now we're 5 tapes deep into this process. And it's the end of February. And again, all I have is their response to do this. The no content adjustments
So
or
ain't know it was Texas Chainsaw this whole time.
correct. They did not
Wow.
call it. They did not call it that. It was not overtly apparent to be that. They wrote. See, they do this for security. They'll call it something else, and then they'll write something along the same lines of their script, but not their script, so that they can
Right.
keep a track of the content of their script. And
Right.
they also, I forget when I had to sign, but I had to sign a badass NDA, like,
Oh, for
in
real?
perpetuity. They could never talk about blah blah blah. Anyway, um, so they come back after that 5th tape, and they're like, the directors want to meet you. So I went on a Sunday to a very famous Hollywood hotel, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. This is a hotel like the first Academy Awards were there in the 1900 and teens. You know what I mean? Like, it's been
Mm-hmm.
there ever since. It's a very cool place. But I went there and I met these guys. There's supposed to be 2 of them, but only one was there because he was sick. Um,
Oh, man.
and they're from Ireland, Irish. Sorry, they're from Ireland.
Like,
So I meet the one guy. I have a conversation with him that lasts longer than most of those conversations go. I think we went about 45 minutes or maybe even an hour. That's pretty long
okay.
for a callback meeting kind of thing, where we're just
Yeah.
talking about the project and talking about the script and all, stuff like that. And that is the conversation. That's when he said, okay, this is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's a $20 million film from Legendary, and
Damn.
you're we want to see you for Leatherface. And are you ready for that? And I was like, can we go right now? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's. I'm
Yeah, that's
ready
what I'm
right
gonna
now,
hear. I just
man.
about to ask you. Where?
And so then the directors went back to Ireland, and we're now into March. And they come back and they say, okay, Fede Alvarez wants to meet you in his office for a test. So basically, just going to go to Fede's office and, see what happens. Like, I don't know what a test means. Test could mean anything. Uh, so I go and I meet Fede Alvarez. And I don't really have any idea who he is. Now, I mean, I would be much more nervous going into that meeting now, knowing who he is, because he's a straight up horror genius, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this guy, I mean, you may or may not know this, but this guy did Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe had a $15 million budget and made its money back in about 16 or 17 hours, and went on to make $80 million in the theaters.
Damn. I love
And
that movie too. Word.
and Sam Raimi said you could remake Evil Dead. The guys from Texas Chainsaw Massacre said you could remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Ridley Scott just said you could remake Aliens in Alien Romulus.
Damn.
So Ridley, like, even, forget about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is worth $200 million. That franchise. Forget about that. Ridley and Sam Raimi are billion-dollar filmmakers, man. They put $1 billion worth of ticket sales around their movies, and
Damn.
maybe many several billions. I don't know, but they're top of the top, and they're not going to let just anybody do their movie.
Yeah.
But at this
No, for
time,
real.
I didn't know who Fede was or anything. So we go and we screw around in a store bought mask, and I think I had a knife or maybe a hatchet or something. I don't. It wasn't a saw, I don't think. But anyway, we're just screwing around, like taking pictures, and he's directing me a little bit, and then he's like, "Just go with the cameraman and go screw around in the office." So the cameraman is kind of following me around, and then I turn to the cameraman at a certain point and I say, "You got to shoot me in the doorway, man." And he's like, "Why? What difference does it make?" And I said, "Because when somebody watching this video sees their eye sees me in the doorway and how I fill it up, that's going to be a little indicator to them, like viscerally inside, about how big I am. Because otherwise, they could be watching it on their phone. I could just be some, little 2 foot
No,
tall
yeah.
guy. You know what I mean?"
No, I've seen
So
that question in here like a few times too. Like three
no, it's all
people
right.
ask, "How tall are you?" Like
Uh,
three different people asked that question.
I'm 6'4".
6'4". He's 6'4". All right. But again, my fault. I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, no, it's like it's cool. And then we just screwed around in Fady's office for a few days, and then by now, so now it's like March 12th or something like that of 2020, and 3 days later they come back and they say, "All right, Mark, you're the guy. You are you are cast in this role." And then
Dang.
3 days later, the world shut down for COVID. I was
Oh yeah,
like,
that was
"Oh
around
my
that time
god."
too. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we pushed, and they were like,
And
"We
so
don't
how did
have."
that work out though? Like filming and stuff during like COVID. I know that thing had to be like crazy doing it during COVID.
There's a whole, yeah. That's a whole story. Like, we
I
pushed
believe
for
it.
we pushed for a few months because they were up in the air. They didn't know what they were going to do. They didn't know if they were going to walk away or whatever. But they kept telling me, "Just hang on. We're still gonna make it. Just stand by." And then, like, in July, they came and they were like, "Okay, we're traveling next month." So,
Oh, bro.
and by then, so now we're April, May, June. We're 3 months into the COVID thing, and the union has put out the protocols. So the way you shoot in during a pandemic on a set is you divide the set into 3 zones. There's zone A, which is right around the camera. So whoever has to be there, the cameraman, the director, like maybe a makeup person, a couple of other camera people, maybe a lighting person or something. Those guys are zone A, and of course the actors and the makeup people. Um, but only one person from each of those groups. You know what I mean? Normally there would be 30 people
A
standing
lot of
around the
people.
camera, but they whittled it down, and so there could only be a few people from each zone. I mean, from each discipline there. And then if you're not in the shot, you can't be around. So, which
Damn.
really, like, that really screwed up my process because normally what I would do is, and it isn't like a control thing or a paranoia thing. It's like I would be just out behind the camera, watching everything that goes on, watching the filming that they're doing, so that when it's my turn, I can come in with the proper attitude that I feel is right for my character. You know what I mean? Like I can
Right.
make all those decisions, a lot of those decisions, watching what the other people are doing. So I know that when it's my time to be in front of the camera, I'll be like, oh, I can't treat that person nicely because they just said I'm a piece of shit or what. You know what I mean? Like you got to be
Mm-hmm.
appropriate to the character. So, but I couldn't do that. So
Yeah.
it really kind of screwed me up. That shooting made it way more difficult. There was also a lot of other protocols, like because I was in a mask and other people had very heavy makeup. We had to hold those face shield kind of things, and so when I would walk from my dressing room or the makeup place to the set wherever we were shooting, I had to hold one of those stupid ass shield makeup. I mean, shield,
Mass. Yeah.
shield, yeah, like face shield things, but
Mm-hmm.
just on a stick. It's like a face shield on a stick. Like, come on, what? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I took it seriously. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh, for
I,
sure.
I believe it was a real pandemic and a real sickness, and I took it very seriously. Because I don't like I don't have the luxury of making that decision. Like, I have to, I have to treat it like it's for real. And I believe it was for real. I mean, I saw things that you know none of us could deny about the COVID crisis. So I didn't have the luxury to pretend it wasn't real. So I had to submit to all those protocols. One time I got bored in my dressing room, and I went for a walk outside around the set, just like to get some air. And somebody saw me, one of the executive producers, and he's like, "Mark, you can't be here. Get back in your trailer." So I had to go back, but I mean, and it also plays with your mind. Like, if I can't do my process, then what exactly am I doing to formulate my character? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
It's
my next question too. I know
yeah,
this had to be like a little different for you, but like how'd you prepare for like a role that like basically like moves off of like body language and like movement, like not
yeah,
talking the whole time and stuff like that. Was that
yeah.
like really different for you or
I mean, I didn't have any qualms about taking the role because it was nonverbal and behind a mask, because I knew that being the performer that I am, that I would pick those points where I could communicate what I needed to communicate. But you had to be sensitive to that, right? Like I had to pick that stuff. But let's talk a little bit about what they wanted me to do. So they hired me because I have a similar body type to a guy named Gunnar Hansen. So Gunnar Hansen was the first Leatherface.
yeah.
He's and and really Texas Chainsaw Massacre like started the genre of the slasher completely out of the blue. Like, you know, people were blown away by it. They then, took all these different stories about different slashers and put them out in the world. But before that, there was really only Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But
Mm-hmm.
what these guys hired me to do, because we have a similar body type, this guy and me, they, in a sense, they hired me to play Gunnar Hansen as if he was playing Leatherface today. So that means
Okay.
that I got to play somebody that I can't access because he passed away. And I can only formulate my character from watching his movie, right?
Word.
But then my movement patterns in my movie are not the same as his. So I can't just, copy it like a monkey or something. I got to like figure out how
How to
he would
blend them
move,
both.
doing the things that I'm required to do. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense? I
Not
mean,
perfect sense.
and there's a concept in filmmaking called matching where you have to like, let's say we're doing a shot and we do one take and they call cut and they say we're going to go again and they adjust somebody else but not me, right? So they change what somebody else is doing but not me. So what does that mean? That means that I have to do exactly what I just did in the same timing, this including breath and
Damn.
speaking and moving and everything has to be done exactly the same in this new unit of time. And why is that? So you have to do it that way because uh, in the editing room, they're going to look at all these different takes and they're going to pick the best one. And if you're all over the place and doing different shit and like one minute you're here and the next time you're here, you know what I mean? Like that's not
It's
going to
gonna look
work.
crazy.
That's why
Yeah.
people get cut out of stuff. So if you're doing the exact same thing every time, the camera knows where you are. The camera guy knows where you are. He knows that when you're, making that move like that or whatever, like to follow you, So it's very important to match. And that's in a sense what they hired me to do was to match Gunner. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot what the question was. Sorry.
It was like how did you prepare for like that role? Like
Right.
without like I'm talking and stuff like that. But no,
Yeah.
you definitely nailed it though. I feel like you actually revived the character into the new generation Leatherface, and it was just
Uh,
so dope seeing like how like he moved around and stuff, like the way he popped out of the cornfield, just like the
yeah.
all the stuff that like you was doing was perfect.
Yeah.
So I give you your flowers for that for real, man.
I appreciate you saying that, man.
It was perfect. I love the
Well,
movie.
yeah. Yeah. I didn't do it alone, right? The producers and the director and the other actors, of course, and all the production people in Sofia, and like it's a collaborative effort for sure. But like we shot in Sofia, Bulgaria for a reason, because there's two facilities in Sofia that are Hollywood comparable. So all those craftspeople and all those crew people, like they're top notch. They know what they're doing, and it was a pleasure to work with each and every one of them, man.
No, for real. So um, was there like a moment where like you felt like you like you nailed it, like where like you actually know that like you like dang, I'm really Leatherface. Like
Well,
I don't know
when
if like that
yeah,
question makes sense, but like
uh,
like
I got what you mean. I understand what you mean. But that moment for me didn't come until a year or more later because I never even saw
mm,
the movie. I never even saw the movie until there was the drop on Netflix.
yo,
So
that's crazy. That's a dope question. 'Cause I didn't even think to ask you that. Wow.
because they want to
Let me
keep it
see.
secret, you know what I mean?
Okay.
The Legendary wants to keep it tight. You know, they did do some test screenings out in the middle of the country or whatever, but I specifically asked if I could attend those, and I was told no. They don't want, they just wanted a raw reaction from the audience. So for me, what you're
Yeah, what
asking
was that
about,
reaction like, man? That,
Yeah.
what was that reaction like? Your first time watching that? I
I
know it
mean, I
had to
got to
be
tell
crazy.
you, man, I was super proud of it. I was super proud of the hard work. I felt like I had, if I didn't, I felt like I felt good about the portrayal of Gunnar Hansen. Like I felt like
Hmm.
that was in the zone of good because I don't have a frame of reference. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I felt like, because you don't know what the audience is going to think, right?
yeah. I think
So
you nailed it, man.
I felt good about what I did, but I didn't know what they were going to think because some of these people, they're hardcore Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans. So
Hmm.
the moment that you're talking about didn't come until I went on the convention circuit and I started meeting fans, which let's talk about that for a minute because
Let's go.
like I never signed an autograph before 2022. And when I started meeting these people, like it's a drink of water that I didn't know I needed, right? Because I'm just running around LA trying to get a job and grinding like I was telling you. And you kind of, I mean, in the back of your mind, I suppose you can't forget it, but you kind of forget that there are people watching and remembering. And oh my God, I love, like, I've had people come to my table. I did a 1 week job on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've had people
Hmm.
come to my table and be like, I remember that line. I remember you. You were great. I really love that. And that's, like, what do you do when that? It just touches your heart.
You made an impact, man.
Yeah, man. So when I started hearing what people had to say about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then I felt like, okay, I did it justice. People responded to what I did. They understood the character. Um, because I took a pretty, like, sorry, I took a pretty radical approach to Leatherface because I chose that he was not just killing indiscriminately. Like he wasn't, and I made the choice that, like, in the first movie, that those things were forced upon him. Like those people made him do that stuff. And I made that choice so that I could have a stronger bond with the mother in my movie. Um, and so that's pretty radical thinking about Leatherface. Like a lot of people might not agree with that character aspect, but I feel like it was the right choice for me to make. And then, okay, so I make that choice, and then we shoot the movie. I still don't know if it's the right choice. I don't know if fans are going to buy it. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
once I started hearing the response at my tables, at the conventions and everything, then I was like, okay, I did it justice. They respond to what I was doing. And so I'm super proud of the movie. The other thing I'm super proud about, how many times have you searched for something on Netflix and you can't find it because they buried it because nobody's watching it? And we're still on the front page of Netflix horror after 2.5, 3 years. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah,
super
man.
proud of it.
Y'all made something legendary, man. Y'all made something legendary. How
Uh,
good does it feel though to like know that fans travel across the world just to come get like an autograph or just to come get like a picture,
I
just
mean,
like
it's,
uh,
like I said, it touches my heart, man. It makes,
um,
what they, I take it seriously. Like I try to, I don't try to, I engage with every person that comes to my table and try to, you know, answer their questions or make them feel like I care about them because I do care about them. I care
mhm.
about each one who has made the at least a financial commitment to come see me by buying a ticket or whatever. And like at the end of those days, on the end of a day at a convention, like I'm wasted, man. It's not my nature to be like, "Hi, how are you?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like for the whole day. Like, and when I do that, like I'm spent. Like it's
beat, yeah.
but it makes me feel great because people are interested, and I've had so
Yeah, I
many.
seen you showing love out there. I seen you give like a little kid like an interview also. I know like that like made his
Yeah.
like whole day like for real. That's dope of you, man, for real.
I mean, the reason I do that, dude, is because I didn't get encouragement. It's not that I didn't get encouragement. I was just not, I was an asshole growing up, and I was an idiot, and I didn't want to be a student, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, my caregivers or whatever, they gave care to me, but I didn't have encouragement to find what spoke to me. And that's why I do that now, because like I want somebody, if I can speak to that kid or that kid's parents and make the impression that, hey, you need to encourage this because like he could be an Olympic winner,
For
an
real.
Olympic gold winner, or he could be The Rock, or he
It
could
could be
be
anything.
anything they want to do. And it just needs encouragement. So that's, and like you, back to your first question, like I said, man, I stumbled into this and I'm only here because I didn't give up. Like I moved to LA in 1987 to go to a pretty famous acting school, and there were 350 of us kids in that semester. There's three of us still running around town trying to make it happen. So that's 1%. You know what I mean?
Man.
So everybody
Yeah.
needs a little more encouragement, and acting is the thing that most people maybe don't realize about acting is, first of all, you can do it however old you are, and secondly, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter if somebody, like, look at Danny Trejo, right? Danny Trejo's in straight up San Quentin prison, and
Mhm.
he gets he becomes friendly or whatever with a guy named Eddie Bunker, who gets out, and Eddie Bunker becomes uh, a screenwriter. He writes movies, and then you know Eddie Bunker is involved in a project and needs somebody like Danny Trejo, and Danny's out, and he calls up Danny, and look at Danny Trejo now. So it doesn't matter what you did before or what has happened prior to you. Like in my own story, like I'm a former foster child, so most of us are dead or in jail. I don't mean to be rude about it, but I am saying like
It's the
they
truth.
don't they don't get breaks, right? These kids, and they call it aging out of the system, and they're just like they're 18, they get booted out of whatever home they're at, and they're on their own. And that didn't happen to me, but it could have. You know what I mean? So uh, I think just everybody needs encouragement, man. Like there's way too much. Uh, how do I phrase this? Way too much exclusion going on and keeping these people from achieving something and that whatever. Like I think that's horrible bullshit, and I don't tolerate it in my life. And so I try to encourage anybody wherever I can, because it's taken me around the world, like this little foster kid from Colorado. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, that's dope, man. That's a dope story for real.
but it happened because I didn't give up. Like that's the other thing.
Nigga,
Can't give
it's
up.
fire. Can never. Word. So walk me through this legendary bus scene, man.
Yeah.
I
So
was
when I excuse me, when I had that test in Fady's office, they described that scene to me, and I didn't really have an idea of what they meant. But when they described it, they said Fede Alvarez designed the most expensive horror sequence in history in this movie.
yeah.
And he also put an actual massacre, because there were no actual massacres in any Texas Chainsaw Massacre prior to this, really. And, at least remember, our movie's called a direct sequel. So really nothing matters in between, only the first movie and then our movie. To the storyline, I'm saying. So there was not really a massacre in there, and then he put a massacre in this. You have to have a bus. You have to have a period bus. You have to gut it and make it into a party bus. You got to make sure it drives and works and everything like that. You got to put a driver in the seat who can drive it. Then right? You got to ship it to Bulgaria and make sure all that stuff is still, you know, working and operational. And then we shoot in it. And, you know, but remember, it's COVID. So we got to pull everybody out every 45 minutes, disinfect the set, redress all the people, reblood all the people, reblood me, put us back in and pick up where we were and then go again for 45 minutes. So the expense of that scene even went higher than they expected. I mean, I'm not privy to the numbers or anything like that, but I can only assume it went, you know, it was much more expensive because of COVID. And that's just the interiors, right? Like you have to do, I mean, the exteriors. So
Yeah.
on the real bus, right? Like I think I was up to the driver's levels, walking in, and maybe turn. That guy says you're do anything and you're canceled, bro. That guy,
Yeah.
that guy's a producer on the film, by the way. He's a great guy named
Oh wow, that's
Simosawa.
crazy.
Shintaro Simosawa. He's a great guy. But I think like I start up the saw and then we cut, right? And then we got to move inside in the studio. So they have to build the interior of the bus in a studio so we can break it all apart and shoot it all different ways and everything. But then again, it's COVID, so they got to build it in a bathtub, right? In a plastic film tank thing that can catch all the water and all that stuff because they got to clean it and disinfect it and reblood it and pull people out again. So, but it was, you know, people ask me what are my favorite kills in the movie. I'll tell you, man. Like each one of those kills is like a baby, right? like it's hard to do. There's no CGI in our movie. There's no computer graphics. So when I break that guy's forearm and stab him in the neck with his own forearm, like
Yeah.
there's an actor there who's wearing a fake arm that I break off and stab him in the neck with it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so they're very difficult to shoot those practical effects like that. Just on that one, you got to have three people who aren't in the van queuing on the blood so that whoosh, they push the thing or whatever it is when I stab, and so blood goes everywhere. You know what I mean? And it's just
Yeah.
very difficult to time all that stuff. But that's what I get into in a filmmaking kind of way. Is
Yeah, how about that chainsaw one lifting them up in the
yeah,
joint?
Sally.
That was yeah.
Yeah. So on that one, if you look, you probably won't see it in the film, but if you come to my table at a convention, I have a picture that I signed that has me holding a half blade saw. It's the saw is cut off at halfway, and she's wearing like a shark fin on the back of her shirt with the other half of my blade sticking out her back. So that when I jam my saw up into her belly, it looks like the saw is coming out her back. And then there's other people when they're shooting my close up, there's people up by her, up by the camera that are just dumping 5-gallon buckets of blood on me for 5 minutes.
But
So much
damn.
so, so much so that when I went home, my contacts were stained pink, man. Many
Dang, that
times
was
that happened.
yeah, that's crazy.
And then on the master of that shot, which would be where the camera's farther away, they got three guys that are holding on to her wires. She's wearing a harness and the shark fin, right? And then so when it comes time for me jamming that saw up into her belly to go like that, they like and hold, you know, they manipulate her wires so that she goes flying across the street into the trash pile. And
Oh,
it was
that,
an amazing, you know, it was an amazing shot. All of those kills, all of them were so incredibly cool.
what was your
And
favorite one you said though?
I mean, they're all my favorite. They're all
They
like,
all
they
your
all got
favorite?
special things, man. Like when Jessica the chick goes out the window and I cut her in half. You know what I mean? Like that's I mean, it's just like
My favorite
it's
kill
yeah.
is the
Tell me.
ending.
Oh yeah,
Um, is the
had to
ending
be.
scene. That's my favorite part of the movie. When it first came out, I had seen it, and then I had like recently watched it again. So like when I
Yeah,
was watching it, it was kind of like brand new again. Then at the end, I knew he was gonna pop out. I'm like, all right, he's about to come back. But I had totally forgot that like you had got her like that. It was crazy. And then like the way you was like holding her head at the end, just like dancing around like if like that's your trophy. Like I mean you got it. Like I was like,
yeah,
damn, yo, he
yeah.
got it at the it was crazy.
I'll tell you a pretty funny story about that. So we shoot it once, and the director goes, "Okay, this time I want you to throw the head at the car as it's driving away." And I'm like, "Okay." I mean, and then so between the time he says that and the time he calls action is like less than a minute. So how am I going to throw this head? Right? I ain't Tom Brady, so it ain't going to be like that, right? It's not going to work if I bowling ball it along the ground. But what I decided to do in the moment is underhand and bowling ball it, but like up in the air, like a softball pitch, right?
hmm
So there was a camera in the car driving away, right? But there's also like downrange, man, like at least 75, 100 feet away. There's a camera on what's called a hi-hat, just sitting on the ground, like upright, like shooting pretty high, wide shot like that. And they call action. I dance around with the head, and then I step into it, and I launch this thing, and it's going end over end like a football field goal, right? And it lands right when the car is going past it. It lands right in front of that other camera in focus, like with on the bloody stump, like her just like her blank stare is like just right in focus in the camera. And the whole crew like erupts like I just kicked the winning field goal, man.
Oh, so that was all like in one shot though. You
It
tossed it
was
that
it
first
was
time.
it was
Oh, that's
one of those
fire.
takes. And then
That's
the
crazy.
producers were like, "It's great, but can't use it. Nobody will believe it." And they were right. Nobody would have believed that shot. It was too set up, but it happened, man. I swear. Like
Mm,
it was amazing. And really, it's kind of a, I don't know. I like to think of it as an indicator of how the shoot went. You know what I mean? Like there were just all kinds of problems and all kinds of like, there always is on a movie. But I feel like between COVID and some of the other stuff that happened, like we just got what we needed. We got it together. We did what we needed to do. The movie looks great. I think it's a stands alone as any horror
right.
movie, like separate from the franchise. Like it's super good, man, and I'm really really proud of it.
Nah, yeah. I just loved it. I like the stuff that like they added to it. Like it's like the new era, how like they pulled the phones out, started recording, how like
Yeah,
that would actually happen now. If like somebody was doing that now, they'd actually pull their phones out, start recording. Like it was so up to date. No, for real.
yeah,
But like the
yeah.
movie was like so up to date. Like I think that's what like we needed from that franchise too. So I think
I
y'all
mean,
delivered. Like
I, I'll tell you this, man. 99.9% of the people who come to my table at a convention love the film, have nothing but good things to say about it. You know what I mean? It's really like I'm super proud of it. And I loved all of that. What you're talking about, all that stuff, is Fede Alvarez again. Another example of his genius, man. Like, they were him and his writing partner, Rado Segoyas. Those guys came up with it, you know, and I mean, I bow to them. They're just Straight
Were
up
you able
genius.
to like do any type of improv? Did you add anything of your own to the Leatherface character besides like what they wanted you to do?
Well, I'm gonna say no because, but not because of I wasn't allowed to,
Hmm.
because I didn't want to. Like
Okay.
I didn't feel like it was necessary or needed. I felt like if on a film like this, where really the only communication I have with the audience
Uh,
is that, right? And I felt like if I was doing too much or what I really wanted would get lost. And it's better to just like, like again, I said, like I had to trust the producer and the director that what they were giving, whatever notes they were giving me about that kind of stuff were what they wanted to see. And so I just wanted to give them what they wanted to see. Now, I mean, I just read for another movie that I would love to do improv like that on. Like it would be, it's a completely different thing, uh, but it would fit that project. It wouldn't fit in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's just like
okay.
it's. I'd rather have the product be crafted. If that, what does
Yeah.
crafted mean? So crafted means, in this sense, crafted means like thoughtful, measured, deliberate. Like nothing in there is happenstance. Like it means something, and it everything is by design. That's why I would choose not to do that.
Okay. If you could choose any other horror person to play, who would it be of like your choice? If like you can pick one.
I mean, I love the Universal monsters. Somebody did. I would love to play Frankenstein. Somebody just did that. I
That's
haven't
dope.
seen it. I haven't seen it yet. But the Universal monsters, like not necessarily Invisible Man or the creature from the Black Lagoon, but like Wolfman or maybe Mummy or I don't know.
You know who I could see you play for some reason? I could see you play Jason like, in like some type of Friday the 13th because of your size and stuff like that, and like the way
Yeah,
you was moving and Texas Chainsaw, you was moving, man. So I kind of feel like that would be like a good role for you, like a little
yeah,
Jason
yeah.
movie or something. That would be
We'll
fire.
see. Back in
Not
the
for
day, I
real.
read for Freddy versus Jason. I met that was in 1999, and I
That's my
met
favorite movie of all time
I
too. It's
met
crazy.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at that audition, man.
What?
Yeah, like that was amazing.
He was
That was
there?
He was there. They were auditioning him to be one of them. I don't know. They didn't
Wow.
call it. They called everybody in individually. Again, that was an in-person meeting. So, but that
Yeah,
was
meeting Kareem
99.
is crazy.
Yeah, that was 99. They
Damn.
didn't get together to do that movie until well into the 2000s. So, you
Hmm.
know,
I
like,
think it was like a little after Jason goes to hell and all that. So
yeah.
because he had grabbed his mask at the end. Say like if Texas Chainsaw made like another movie,
Hmm.
what direction would you see it going now? I'm like a movie like right after this one, like after like you cut her head off and all that. Like, what
Yeah.
direction would you see it going
I
after
mean, I
that?
think I think there's Texas Chainsaw Massacre gold to be mined in him traveling home.
Mm,
I think, the way I'm walking up that road at the end of this one, off into the sunset,
mm-hmm.
like because now he's on his own, right? He's not. He doesn't
Exactly.
have. He doesn't have the family
No.
that's forcing
It
him
was
to
like
do.
two different leather faces, and like
Yeah, man.
we got the one only halfway towards the end, so now we need to like kind of see more of him because like
Yeah,
once
like
your mom died, that was like a totally different like person. So
exactly. Like, what is he gonna
yeah,
do now?
yeah,
Now,
exactly.
Now, right, he has the opportunity to really show who he is and
For
what he thinks of the world and how he plans to like navigate it. Clearly, he's limited by certain things, right? Like he's nonverbal, like so there's going to be that. But I think that you know certain people, Willem Dafoe and others, talk about freedom within the framework. I think that within that framework of character, there's a huge world of ideas and possibilities that someone could, write. Not me. I'm not a writer. But,
yeah, no, yeah.
I would love to
Nah, but
be
that
that
idea was
person.
dope though. That
I
idea
would
was dope
love.
because I was kind of thinking like the same thing. Like we need like a little more from him to see like what's going on. And I also have another question. Did like that movie work with the franchise?
Right. And I
And
think
what
I
part was it
understand.
after?
So again, our movie is called a direct sequel. So nothing matters
Okay.
but the first movie and our movie. Nothing in between is addressed at all. So we're just taking, in my movie, we're just taking the character and pushing him forward. We don't talk about really anything in
I
the past,
got you.
except, I mean, you could argue, except Sally. Sally Hardesty,
Yeah.
the chick who
Hmm.
gets, hung up in the air.
Yeah.
Like we kill her off, but other than that, the past is not really addressed. And
Yeah, because
so, yeah, go ahead.
no, because the first time when I had like seen the movie and like I seen you come down the steps with the cop or something, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, hold on, because he done killed like so many people in the past and stuff. So like, I was kind of wondering like how like the cop ain't like, you know what I mean? But
Well,
then now that makes sense though. Now it
the
makes
quick
sense.
answer is the mother, right? The my mother in this movie kind of put made me realize and like I could be docile and I didn't have to do all those other things. And I think that's where he's been for the past 25
That's
years, is
it.
just sitting in that bone chair up in the attic, like just sitting there,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
crazy. Bro.
And yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
All right.
so you asked about the kind of the hierarchy. So that's the hierarchy about what our movie is called, a direct sequel. But
Mhm.
the other issue is that so the company that hired me, Legendary, uh, they have lost the rights to do any more movies for Texas Chainsaw
Mhm.
Massacre. And
Damn.
so when that happens, the people who own the rights have now put it out that they're taking offers. So all around Hollywood, there's a list of, you know, the people that want to pitch ideas about this new what the franchise could look like moving forward, and those meetings are happening now. So I'm not involved in those meetings. I would find it incredibly lucky, and I would be grateful if that
Mm.
happened to come
Mm.
my way.
Nah,
But
I ain't gonna lie, real quick, man. I want to say this: if if they wouldn't pick you, man, they must not have watched the movie. The way you play Leatherface, I think whoever brings this back to life, they're gonna
yeah,
have to go through you. They're gonna have to because like the way you did that, like there's like no denying it, man. Like you definitely got it. You definitely gonna get that call. You
I
definitely
appreciate
gonna
you,
get it.
man. I appreciate you.
That's like when a Nightmare on Elm Street, where like, know what I mean, I love all the movies, even like the remake with the new guy, but that
Yeah,
still wasn't like Robert Englund. Like it's still like because you can never. That's why I think because they never even touched it again, or it's probably like some copyrights and stuff like that. But
yeah,
there's certain things that like you can't replace. So and like the way you nailed that a Leatherface one, man. Like, there's no replacing that, bro. For real.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I hope it happens. So those rights, those meetings will come to a head. Somebody will purchase the rights, and so you can reasonably assume that somewhere in the next 5 years there will be another Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Who it's going to be from, who's involved, who's the director, who's the star, all of that is yet to be determined. But it will happen because somebody's not, whoever is not going to plunk down however many millions of dollars to purchase the rights, not to do
Yeah, we
anything with
got
it.
Leatherface in here, man. Yeah, Leatherface, Yeah, man, the real Leatherface. All right, man. I have like a little trivia bill for you. It's called One Gotta Go. I start with Insidious, It, Hereditary, or The Conjuring. One movie gotta go.
I love Stephen King, but it's got to go.
It
It's got
gotta
to go.
go. Okay.
Hereditary scared the crap out of me. Conjuring scared the crap out of me. What was the first one you said?
Insidious, The
Insidious. I got
Conjuring.
my good friend Tom Fitzpatrick is in Insidious, so I can't kill that one. It's
Can't
got to
kill that
be
one.
it's got to be it.
All right, It. All right. The Dark Knight, Avatar, Avengers, or Titanic. One gotta go.
Oh, Avengers, man.
Avengers.
Avengers. Yeah.
Avengers gotta go. Ghostface, Michael Myers, Jason, or Freddy. One gotta go.
Mm, I can't do that, man. They're all my friends. They're all my good friends, man.
All right, let's
I
do the
mean,
next one.
yeah.
Child's
Pass.
Play.
Child's play. Okay.
Child's Play, Hellraiser, It Again, or a Candyman.
It again.
It Again. It got.
It.
All
You
right.
put me on the spot, bro.
Superbad, Step Brothers, The Hangover, or 21 Jump Street.
Oh my God. Not Step Brothers, not Hangover. So
Word.
it's gotta be one of the other two. What were the other two? Like the first
Superbad and
Superman.
21 Jump Street.
Get out,
Superbad
Superman.
gotta go.
Take that shit back
All
to wherever.
right. Favorite sports team.
I'm from Colorado, bro. Denver
Oh,
Broncos. Denver Broncos are my favorite. I know it's a long, hard road. We had a good time there in the 90s, but
nah, but they're actually doing good this year too, though.
yeah.
Favorite movie.
Whichever one I'm trying to get in right now. That's my favorite movie.
Nah,
I know
word.
it sounds lame,
Nah,
but
that was a dope answer.
I really do love filmmaking. So like, I mean, you watch my movie Wrong Cops or a movie like Low Life. Low Life was directed by a Student Academy Award winner. Like there's only like whatever, 10 of those a year. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
From around the whole world. So each one of those movies has like an amazing thing that happened to it. Either like, Wrong Cops, I kidnap Marilyn Manson and give him a lesson in good music. Like like
That's
how
crazy.
you can't make that shit up, right?
No,
It's
for
it's so good and so funny and weird and I'm just whatever is next is my favorite.
nah.
For now,
That's
for
a dope
now,
answer.
you
Nah,
know,
that's fire. Your favorite hobby to do on your free time?
I'm a skier, so I like winter sports. I love building Harleys. I got two of them.
Oh, okay. You a bike guy?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
a Harley guy?
yeah. I'm a Harley guy.
Fire. What's your favorite type of car?
Favorite type of car? I mean, if we're talking like a sports car or something like that, I would probably go for a built-out, uh, smaller sedan, like just like beef it up with suspension and
Okay.
competition chip and stuff like that, and make it super like zippy. That's what I would probably do rather than spend 200 grand on a Ferrari or something that I can't ever
Like
drive,
Lamborghini or something, man.
or that'd get
Um,
jacked in 5 minutes.
you're the number one food spot.
I like Gus's. I went to Gus's
You
in
got-
San Antonio. They got one here. I
Okay.
haven't been here yet. I like Gus's a
Okay.
lot.
Okay. Now, that's just like a little something for like the fans to like get to know you like a little more. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's cool,
mean,
man. It's very cool. I like
um,
Indian food too. I love Indian food.
okay.
There's a place here in LA called India's Best on Sunset Boulevard and Fountain. It's really, really, really good.
When's your next convention? Do you got one coming up?
I don't have anything scheduled for 26, so if you guys want to see me at your local convention, hit up those promoters and tell them to book me. Like
For sure, for sure.
I would really appreciate that because I got nothing booked for 26 right now.
What's next for you right now? What's going on?
I'm always auditioning. Like I said, I just read for this super funny movie that I'm way into. Can't really say much more about that. But the other thing is we're coming off 2.5 years of strikes and then the
Hmm.
fires. So this year, right, 2025, the Christmas happened last year. Everybody was like, yes, we're coming back. The week of the beginning of the year, I had 3 auditions for the first time in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then the fires happened and killed it.
Oh
So it's
man.
just coming back now. It's just coming back gangbusters right now. So I'm hoping things get real busy and I book this movie that I just read for because it's super funny.
Nah, man, you got this, man. And your weight game is strong because you held off for a little, and then you got Leatherface. So shit, because you don't know what's coming up next, man. Like there's something good coming. So
I appreciate it, man.
um, but Knock, I wanted to tell you, man, this was an honor. It was a privilege to have you on. It
Oh,
was a
dude.
privilege to like talk to you, man. This was dope, bro. Like I just wanted
Same.
people to like
I feel the
really
same
get to
way,
know
man.
you, man.
I feel the same way for you, and I hope whatever your endeavors are, you reap that benefit as well. I'm sure you will. If you just keep
I
grinding and
appreciate
doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate that a lot, man. Now again, this was dope, man. I appreciate your time, bro. I want to ask you, do you got like any type of merch or anything, like shirts and stuff like that?
I sell on my website, which is it's linked to on my Instagram profile.
Okay,
Um, I sell signed trick or treat masks and or uh, signed photos. That's what I
okay,
have. I have photos that I signed and send out, or a mask that I send out. And the thing about this mask, first of all, it's Trick or Treat Studios, so it's really good. It's the best mask of my character there is, and I get them straight from the company. So nobody has worn this mask before. I take it out of
okay.
the bag, sign it, put it back in the bag, put it in a box, and send it away. So it's
You said that's on the website?
yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm about to go
And
look at that right now when I get off.
and there's a
All right,
link.
yeah, man.
There's a link on my bio.
Okay. Yeah, man. I want to thank you again, man. This is episode 3 of Inside the Screen. It was
I
an
appreciate it.
honor. It was an honor to have you on, bro. For real, man. I'm gonna
I,
stay tapped in with you.
please
I'm gonna
do.
lock in. Yeah,
And
whatever you
whenever
got going on.
put something
I'll
together
support.
with multiples on us, and I'll come back. I'll come back whenever you want me. But like, if you got put some horror people together or film people or whatever you want.